Introspective and remorseful?
Sometimes I feel regret. Sometimes I feel remorse. But most of the time, I feel nothing.
Okay, so he barely feels anything, and he's a master at killing. I think that's right. Thanes are introduction to the Drell species who have perfect memory and have these things called solipsism moments, where they can play back an exact memory in perfect detail while in a rather odd prophetic way. Thane was trained as a child to be an assassin by the Hanar, so killing is pretty much all he knows. This was done as Drell nearly committed genocide on their homeworld by overpopulation, apparently by industrialization without having developed space travel. The Hanar came by in a spaceship to transport them to the Hanar homeworld. Thane knows some philosophy, if that's your thing. He quotes Thomas Hobbes and bases his entire life of murder by rationalizing it with the metaphysics of dualism. He believes in polytheism, if that's your thing, and he's a loner because, well, he kills people for a living. If the ladies can relate to that. Thanes are intro to the Drell species, but we only see two. The Hanar have nothing to do with Mass Effect 2 as well, and could be lampposts for all they're worth. And he's just weird. He's apparently well versed in philosophy as well as theology and has a polytheistic belief system. However, if one is seeking redemption for one's life, especially over the death of one's loved one because of one's job, and wants to make the world a better place and only has less than a year to live due to an incurable illness, why not simply help people instead of killing others? Philosophy grants one various perspectives and raises lots of questions, which Thane seems to be doing, but nothing is really changing for him. This is exacerbated by the fact that he left his son to go after his wife's killers, who only killed his wife because Thane was an assassin who killed one of their associates. But how long ago was that? So this type of lifestyle is making him sad, yet work fulfilled him?
Work fulfilled me. Reading. I barely spoke to anyone outside my family. It seems there will be no one to mourn me when I die.
So why not finally go and take care of your son? What, do you need someone to hold your hand? The other problem I have is his perspective about being a killer. He says his body kills, but his mind does not. His body has been trained to behave or react to certain situations which end up in people dying, fighting, etc. This is called behavioralism, and fighting and killing for him is merely repetition or a reflex. He then makes the analogy between the gun and person. That is, the person is the one who kills, not the gun, him being the gun. But it doesn't make sense with the idea of having a dualistic view on the philosophy of mind. You see, the more you do something, the more you don't have to think much about doing the same thing, because you have accumulated the same memory of it. Which implies the mind. If you have memory of doing something, and Thane has perfect memory, then every time you're doing something, it is your mind causing your body to move, reflexive with memory or not. That still makes him a murderer, even if he's just rationalizing his entire life away. Just because a client wants someone else dead doesn't mean the mens rea is separate. Actus reus and mens rea are both present in Thane's body and mind. Makes you wonder why Samara didn't walk down the hall while his back was turned that he's so sensitive about and just kill the guy. The guy has a death wish, and the abduction of human colonists concerns him. What a nice, strange, murderous fellow. Because you provided a distraction for him so he can kill his target, and decides to join up. Thane's recruitment involves hunting down one of his current contracts, a character from the first game, Nasana Dantius. Nasana is a rather conniving, diplomatic, and businesswoman sort, having asked Shepard to eliminate her blackmailing sister in the previous game. This begs the question, if Shepard and Nasana knew each other, why couldn't Shepard just contact Nasana? I mean, the opportunity even presented itself.
I'm afraid your men aren't able to respond, son.
It would have saved her life, and Shepard could still have a violent level to shoot through. Thane could still make his dramatic appearance, and Shepard could lay some serious Paragon or Renegade's persuasions on her, like having her change her ways, pay up for her crimes, or by killing her. We find out that Thane was on his own suicide mission, that he wasn't expecting to survive this contract. Shepard showing up generates a diversion for Thane, giving him the time and location to crawl through the ducts and finally kill Nasana and the guards. Even Thane makes a very astute observation that
I was curious to see how far you'd go to find me. Well, here I am.
because we had to find him right now exactly under these conditions without even trying to contact anyone in advance. So finally we meet Thane, and he's praying over how wicked he is for killing her. Okay, So when talking to Thane later on the ship, he explains he doesn't feel guilt over killing others. So why is he praying for himself over being wicked? He himself calls his life a path of sin, but I thought it didn't bother him. So is he remorseful for killing others, where we see that in him killing Nisana? Or is he just a gun for hire in the gun person analogy, where he's the gun and the real killer's the client who contracted the hit, where he feels nothing? So which one is it? Thane's going to join us or do some work for us free of charge, as if Shepard was going to pay him anything in the first place. Well, wait a second. If Tim could hire 3 other people, why couldn't he just hire Thane? Isn't Thane a contract killer? Oh, right. That would have to involve who and what Thane would be killing, and no one has any flipping idea because there's no plot. Because the designers needed an alien female love interest and have no idea what makes men attractive because they're all guys. Wait, what about Garrus? To introduce the Drell species who have a Fallout 3 overpopulation backstory, somehow tied in with another race, the Hanar, who have nothing to do with anything. Thane's loyalty does not make any sense. If he already had leads to figure out where his son was, why didn't he go and find him by himself? What, did he need someone to hold his hand because he's so embarrassed after all this time? Wasn't he just intent on dying on his last contract? Instead, we have to walk around on catwalks, which has no value since this isn't a sneaking or espionage game, with Thane even commenting,
He looks nervous. Could be he's noticed you.
"Saw what? Some guy walking around on some catwalks?" The target's making social calls to voters and shaking down a business. What would noticing Shepard all decked out in pink on a catwalk do? If this was a sneaking mission, it's pointless since Bioware took out the crouch option and Shepard walks with a limp. So we're chasing some politician around on a catwalk for no reason, waiting for Thane's son to make an appearance while Thane is somewhere hiding in the shadows. This is also where we see Thane's cutscene power to the max, where he has the power of invisibility, or moving around very fast out in the open. Raiden eventually shoots the bodyguard protecting the politician, which doesn't make sense because we had Shepard and the Master Assassin tracking him the entire time, ready to stop the pansy should this very thing happen. And Thane's an invisible speed demon in cutscenes. Somehow we manage to get to the politician's apartment, where once again legal due process is waived because Shepard's involved. Thane has a heartfelt reunion, explains his wife died because the murderers were trying to get to him, and Thane's son ends up doing work or community service over attempted murder because the cop isn't as squeaky clean as we know him to be and Shepard's around. Yay. Oh, and there's another wonderful disregard for due process with the police interrogation scene. I think someone at Bioware just hates cops or legal proceedings because every time cops or legal proceedings are involved, we just ignore them and do whatever the crap we want. Nothing. So thanks Bioware for giving us a philosophical suicidal alien who's green that female players can boff. And now it's time to watch some anime. Oh no, I mean we're just gonna download some DLC.